What if everything you believe about financial independence is keeping you poor? Not poor in the obvious sense. Not the kind of poor where you can't eat. I mean poor in the most dangerous way possible. The kind where you work for 30 years, trade the best hours of your life for a paycheck, and arrive at the end of the road with just enough to survive but never enough to be free. That kind of poor. The kind that wears nice clothes and drives a car on installments and checks the account. A balance on a Sunday night with that familiar knot in the stomach. Here's the belief I want to shatter right now, that financial independence is a destination reserved for the lucky, for the ones who inherited money or hit it big with some investment or stumbled into the right opportunity at the right time, that it's a lottery, beautiful for those who win, irrelevant for everyone else. That belief is not just wrong. It is the single most expensive illusion most people carry through their entire adult lives. Financial independence is not magic, it is method. And once you understand that, truly understand it, not just intellectually agree with it, the way you see money, time, and your own life will never be the same. Meet Carlos. Carlos is 34 years old. He makes a decent salary. Better than most people around him, actually. He has a stable job, a car, a small apartment, and a subscription for every streaming platform that exists. He goes out on weekends. He takes one trip per year. He feels most of the time that he's living reasonably well. But every month, without fail, the same thing happens. The money runs out before the month does. Not dramatically, he doesn't go hungry. But there's nothing left over, no investment, no reserve, no movement. He tells himself it's because his salary isn't high enough, that when he gets the next raise, things will change, that someday, somehow, things will align. Carlos doesn't know it yet, but he is caught in what I call the consumption trap. A cycle so normalized, so universally accepted, that most people never even question it. You earn money, you spend money. You earn more money, you spend more money. The lifestyle grows with the income. The expenses expand to fill whatever space the salary creates, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be stays exactly the same, no matter how much more you make. This is not a personal failure. It is a design feature of the consumer economy. As Adam Smith observed centuries ago, the forces of a market economy are extraordinarily efficient at converting your labor into someone else's capital. The system is not broken. It is working perfectly, just not in your favor. And here's what makes it insidious. Carlos genuinely believes he just needs more income. He is focused entirely on the wrong variable. Warren Buffett, perhaps the greatest wealth builder in modern history, has a principle that goes against almost every financial instinct most people have developed. The rate at which you save matters more than the rate at which you earn. Not slightly more, enormously more. The simple and uncomfortable math behind this principle reveals that someone saving 50% of their income can become financially independent in approximately 16 years, starting from zero, regardless of how large or small that income is. Someone saving 10% of their income is looking at over 50 years of work before they reach the same point. Read that again, not because it's complicated, because it's almost too simple to believe. And here is the concept I want to give you today. The concept that will either offend you or permanently change how you think about money. I call it the method of inevitable wealth. And it is built on the radical idea that financial independence is not a matter of luck, inspiration, or talent. It is a matter of design. You either have a system working for you, or you are a component working for someone else's system. The first layer of the method is what I call the savings rate as a weapon. Most people treat savings as what's left over after spending. Whatever survives the month gets put away. This is backwards. In the logic of the method, savings is not a result. It is a decision made before anything else happens. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime partner and one of the most incisive financial minds of the 20th century, said it with devastating clarity. The first rule is to never interrupt compounding unnecessarily. Compounding does not care about your ambitions. It does not respond to motivation. It responds to consistency and to time. Every month you fail to save is not just a month lost. It is years of compounding that will never happen. The person who saves 30% of a modest income will, in most scenarios, accumulate more real wealth than the person who earns twice as much but saves only 5%. This is not a hopeful metaphor. This is arithmetic. Ask yourself honestly, what percentage of your income are you keeping right now? Not spending on necessary things. Keeping, converting into assets that will work for you while you sleep. The second layer is the architecture of passive income. Active income is what you trade your time for. You show up, you deliver, you get paid. Stop showing up, stop getting paid. This is the financial structure of dependency, and for most people, it is the only structure they have ever built. Passive income is the opposite architecture. It is the structure where money generates money, where assets produce returns, where the work you did in the past continues paying you in the present. Naval Ravikant, the entrepreneur and philosopher of wealth who has influenced an entire generation of thinkers on money and freedom, describes this as the only true path to leverage. You must own equity, a piece of something that generates value whether or not you are physically present. Whether that equity comes from stocks, from real estate, from a business, from royalties, the principle is the same. You are building a machine. Every dollar invested is a gear added to that machine. Over time, the machine starts producing output larger than any amount of direct labor could generate. Carlos works 60 hours a week and has zero passive income. A financial independence seeker works 50 hours a week, saves aggressively, invests consistently, and in 15 years has a portfolio generating more than his current salary, every year, forever. The third layer is what I call the identity shift principle. This is where most financial education stops short, and it is the most important layer of all. You can know all the right strategies: index funds, compound interest, savings rates, asset allocation, and still fail. Not because the strategies don't work, because the identity that holds the strategies matters more than the strategies themselves. Robert Kiyosaki's core insight in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, whatever you think of his specific investment advice, cuts to something deeply true. The poor think about money as a thing to be spent. The rich think about money as a thing to be deployed. These are not just different habits, they are different identities, different relationships with money at the psychological level, different stories that a person tells themselves about what money is for. If your identity is that of someone who consumes, who earns in order to spend, who rewards themselves with purchases, who measures success by lifestyle display, then every financial strategy you apply will be undermined by that identity. The identity leaks resources. The identity resists the discipline. The identity finds a reason every month to spend the money that was supposed to be saved. The question is never just, what should I do with my money? The question is, who am I in relationship to money? And that is a question most people never ask, because the answer is uncomfortable. The fourth layer is the compounding horizon problem. Human beings are catastrophically bad at thinking in long timescales. We are wired for immediate rewards. It is a feature of our neurology, not a flaw. But financial independence is a game played across decades, not months. And the tragic consequence of our short-term wiring is that we systematically underestimate the power of time. Consider this. If you invest $1,000 today at 7% annual return, in 30 years, it will become approximately $7,600. not because of any extraordinary skill or market prediction, purely because of time and the mathematics of compounding. Now consider what happens when you invest consistently, month after month, year after year, across a working career. The numbers become almost incomprehensible, not because of magic, because of method applied with patience. The reason most people never experience this is not that they lack the income. It is that they interrupt the process. They dip into the investments when something shiny appears. They stop saving when life gets expensive. They respond to the short term and sacrifice the long term every time until the window closes. The fifth layer is the lifestyle design equation. Here is the truth that will provoke the most resistance. Cutting spending is more powerful than increasing income. Not marginally more powerful, dramatically more powerful, for two reasons that compound on each other. When you reduce your cost of living, you simultaneously increase the gap between income and expenses, which increases savings, and you permanently lower the amount of money you need to be financially independent. The finish line moves closer while you move faster toward it. This is the double effect that most people never grasp because they are so fixated on earning more that they never examine what they are earning for. This does not mean asceticism. It does not mean deprivation or suffering or living like a monk. It means conscious design. It means asking for every expense. Is this purchase buying me freedom or buying me dependency? Is this adding to my life or simply filling a psychological gap that more money will never truly close? Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I don't earn enough. My situation is different. Life is too expensive right now. Maybe when things settle down. I've heard these arguments 1,000 times, not from others, and from myself. And they are real. The financial pressures are real. The cost of living is real. The exhaustion of trying to build wealth while managing daily life is absolutely real. I am not dismissing any of that, but I need you to sit with something uncomfortable for a moment. Every year that passes without a system, without a method, is a year of compounding that is gone forever. Not delayed. Gone. The cost of waiting is not just the money you didn't save. It is the exponential returns that money would have generated. It is years of financial freedom that quietly disappear while you wait for conditions to be perfect. Conditions will never be perfect. The only perfect time was yesterday. The second best time is now. You are either building a machine or you are being used by one. Every month without a method is a month of working for someone else's financial independence. Every paycheck fully spent is a vote for the system that benefits from your consumption and your permanent economic dependency. And here is the transformation I want you to carry out of this video. Financial independence is not a dream for special people. It is not a reward for those who were born lucky or made the right connections or hit the right timing. It is a mathematical consequence of a set of behaviors applied consistently over time. It is available to you, not someday, not when things are different. It is available to you now, with what you have, if you choose to build the method instead of waiting for the magic. The question is not whether you can afford to start. The question is whether you can afford not to. There is a phrase I want you to type in the comments right now. Not for the algorithm. I genuinely want to know where you are. Type, I am building my method. If you mean it, if something in this video clicked for you at a level deeper than intellectual agreement, I want to see that. Because this channel is not about consumption. It is not about financial entertainment. It's about the long game, about building real, durable, conscious wealth in a world designed to extract it from you at every turn. Subscribe if you want to continue this conversation. Subscribe if you are serious about understanding money at the level where it actually changes your life, not the surface level of tips and tricks, but the deep level of identity, behavior, and the architecture of freedom. The method is simple, not easy. Simple. And every day you delay starting, the cost of delay compounds just as surely as the wealth you haven't yet built. Begin now. The math is already working. The only question is who it's working for.